Hi. Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Zach Frederick. And how y'all doing? I know you can't respond to me. I can't hear you. But uh, you can see I gave myself a clean shave, and I cut myself too shaving. You can see that here. Um, you see when I look on the camera, I'm seeing like it's like looking in a mirror, and I gotta get used to that. When you look in a mirror, I could see myself on this. It's like when you look at them in the mirror and you think your right side is on your left side. So I'm seeing this on the right side of my face. Yes, see, now I'm getting used to. I'm seeing this on the right side of my face, but it looks like it on my left side. So I go to wipe it, and I end up wiping the left side because the way it looks to me, and it's in reverse. So I have to get used to that. And how you all doing today? I just wanted to, I don't know, share some stuff with you that's on my mind. It's nothing really special. I'm watching Trading Places right now, that movie from '83 with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. I love this movie. I could watch it over and over and over. I know I'm not paying much attention to it right now because I'm here talking to you. I didn't catch it from the beginning anyway. But I just wanted to say a few things that are on my mind. The movie Trading Places is on. It's from over 30 years ago, and it's still in great quality. Looks clear picture and great sound and everything. That's good. And I was thinking this morning. I was thinking to myself about sensationalism. I don't know if that's the right word. I think it is. Like how the media, they will hype up the things like that aren't important. The media will hype it up like it's a big thing to keep you distracted from the big issues, the real things, to get you away from the issues like the war. And I don't support this war. I don't agree with this war. Not that I'm anti-war. I am not anti-war. I do believe in war when it's necessary. When it's necessary, I believe in going to war. And killing motherfuckers if it's necessary. But this war is not necessary. Just like many other wars we fought in the past, Vietnam, World War I and II, the bullshit in the 90s, none of these wars we've had were necessary. Is war ever necessary? Yeah, sometimes. But these wars we've been having, like this one, now it's not necessary. And it's bullshit. But my point is that on the news, whether you support this war or you're against the war, we want to hear how our soldiers, how our troops are doing over there in Iraq or wherever they're at. We want to know and be updated on what's going on over there. There's people who have family that is in the war, and they want to know how their people in their family is doing over there. There's and things like about the economy, and important shit. A motherfucker got killed, a massacre happened or something, shooting, and people, we want to know. I don't care if it's conservative news. I don't care if it's conservative news, Fox News, if it's liberal news network, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, whatever liberal or conservative news network it is, we want to be updated on the real news. And things like Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson. love Michael Jackson. I have loved him since I was about 4 years old. I've been a big Michael Jackson fan my whole life. And I was a little bit sad when he died, you know. I wasn't devastated like some people. They thought, oh, it's like it's the end of the world. Like, you know, and I get that. There's some people who really are that emotionally attached to him because they loved him as an artist and the things that he did, you know, to help people. I wasn't broken up about it like it was like if it was a member of my family or a best friend of mine that died. But I was a little bit sad. I said, oh no, don't tell me Michael. And here's the thing. Here's another thing. I was watching Fox News at the time. He died in '09 on June 25th of '09. I was watching Fox News that was back when I was on my conservative shit. I used to, like, back when I was younger, and this is when I didn't really follow politics, I didn't really care about it, but when I was younger, I was taught to think that liberal and Democrat is the way to go, and the Republicans, they're all a bunch of racist white people who don't care about blacks, and they don't care about Hispanics, and they don't care about poor whites. That's what I grew up hearing. So I was... You know, I really didn't pay attention to politics when I was a child and a teenager, and in my early 20s. I didn't really pay attention to politics. But, however, I just assumed that the liberal Democrat was the right way to go. I assumed that the Democrat, that was the good side, and the Republican conservative, that's the evil, bad side. Left side is good, right is bad. Or is it? I don't know, because here's left and there's right. Okay, because like I told you, I'm getting used to this. But you know what I mean. Right wing, left wing, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat. I was taught to think that the left side is good, the right side, they're the bad guys. So even though I didn't pay attention to politics much, I didn't vote or nothing, I was just assumed the liberal Democrat side is the good side and the Republicans are bad. And then when I got older, a bit older in my late 20s, I started watching the news more. I used to love Glenn Beck since he was on CNN. I started watching him when he was a conservative. He was a conservative on a liberal network. But he started off on CNN. He was probably the only conservative on there. But Glenn Beck, I started watching him when he was still on CNN, and then he went to Fox News where he was right at home he was on a conservative network. I used to watch Glenn Beck on CNN, and then I'd change it. Later I would change it to Fox News, and I'd watch Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, Greta Van Susteren, Shepard Smith on the Fox News reporter sign, and Brent Colbert, or whatever the fuck his name is. I used to watch CNN for Glenn Beck, and when he was on there, and then later turn on Fox News. And then when he was on Fox News, when Glenn Beck moved to Fox News, I would just watch Fox, not CNN, MSNBC. I'd only watch Fox. Because I was in my later 20s when I started really paying attention to the news and paying attention to politics anymore. I started hearing both sides, listen to the liberal side and listen to the conservative. And at that time, I started to agree more with the conservative when I started understanding them more. Now I'm more of a libertarian than a conservative, than a liberal or conservative. Listen, people on the liberal side, your common Democrat liberal, they do have some good points, I think. I think they got some good points and some bad ones. The same thing with the conservative. the conservative right-wing Republicans, there's some points of theirs that are good that I agree with, and then they have other points that I don't agree with. And I would say I'm more of a liberal than anything. Not liberal, excuse me, a libertarian. I'm more of what they call a libertarian, even though I hate labels. But if anything, as far as my political views, I would be that. And, I mean, me personally, I would rather have no government at all. And I know people think, oh, anarchist. Damn, this thing on my face. Oh, anarchist. Even if that is what it's defined. When people think anarchy and no government, they think just war, like a Mad Max society. No, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. And that just because I advocate for no government, whether that's called anarchy or whatever it is, doesn't mean I think we should just have no government and just have no structure at all and be a bunch of motherfuckers running around just robbing each other and killing each other and do whatever we want to run around recklessly and do it. No, I think there should be some structure, and I think we could get along and have structure and have harmony and have order by ourselves without needing capitalism and without needing a rulership, a bunch of small group of appointed people to rule over us, and we need them for order because we're too dumb, we can't do it by ourselves. No, I don't think we need, and I think if we had no government and no capitalism, we would be able to get along by ourselves and still have some structure and evolve to whatever circumstances and situations as time goes on. We evolve and change and to whatever works at the time as far as how we run society, you know. But when I talk about politics, if I'm gonna be stuck with a government, okay, if they're gonna insist on having a government, a rulership rule over us, then and if I'm gonna be stuck with it, I know there's nothing I could do about it, then I would rather be have things run in a libertarian kind of way, not so much liberal or conservative. You know, if I gotta have a government ruling over me and there's nothing I could do about it, then I would rather, you know, it be like the kind of government Ron Paul talks about. I was a big supporter of his when I was a conservative, and even now as a libertarian. I don't vote. I don't fuck with that shit because I don't believe it. I believe it's all rigged. Okay, I could get deep into that, but that's a whole other video. So I'll just leave, you know, I'll just leave that at that. But Ron Paul, he always runs under the Republican, because you got to run under one or the other. He runs under the Republican tag. I agree with him more than anybody, especially now as a more libertarian thinking person. And also Dennis Kucinich. He's a guy who runs on the Democrat side. Dennis Kucinich. I like Ron Paul is my favorite guy. If you ask me who would I choose out of all the politicians that I know of, Ron Paul 1, and 2, Dennis Kucinich. And those guys are friends. Their ideas are close to each other. Ron Paul, he was saying that if he became president, he would have Kucinich be his vice president. And Dennis Kucinich, once he said the same thing, that if he were to win the presidency, he would have Ron Paul as his vice president. And I think that would work out. I like Ron Paul I agree. I've learned not to completely trust any politician. I don't give a fuck if they're Republican, Democrat. I don't care if they say they're a liberal, say they're a conservative, say they're a progressive, say they're a libertarian, say they're a Tea Party person, say they're whatever kind of shit they are, whatever they identify themselves as. I have learned a long time ago, don't trust any politician. I don't give a fuck how good they sound. I don't care how, like Ron Paul, he seems like he's honest and genuine. And then Kucinich, he seems honest and genuine. But you never know. Honestly, from as many politicians, Republican and Democrat, that have fucked us over in the past, you really don't know for sure. If Ron Paul, he gets in there and then he ends up fucking us over. If Dennis Kucinich, he seems honest. If he gets in there, he ends up fucking us over. You really don't know. But I think, my opinion is that Ron Paul is an honest guy. And I agree with most of his policies and ideas. And Dennis Kucinich, my opinion is that he's an honest guy. And I agree with a lot of his ideas and the way he wants to go about running things. One guy's a Republican, the other guy's a Democrat. And those are my two. I don't care if because I like Ron Paul a little bit better than Kucinich because of his ideas, not what tag he runs. Because I like Ron Paul, out of the two, I like Ron Paul a little bit better than, I support Ron Paul a little bit better than Kucinich, not because of his ideas, not because he runs under the Democrat tag or Republican tag, GOP tag or Dem. I don't care. I don't care if Ron Paul was the Democrat, the guy who runs under Democrat, and if Kucinich was the guy who runs under the Republican. I would still like Ron Paul the most based on his ideas, whether he's a Democrat or Republican. I would like Kucinich second, based on his ideas, whether he runs under Democrat or Republican. And what I love about both of them, Ron Paul and Kucinich, Ron Paul, it's like he doesn't consider himself a Republican or Democrat. He's just a person with ideas, and he has no choice because the way it's set up, the way it's structured, you gotta run under this party or this party. And same thing with Kucinich. He doesn't seem to care about that right-wing, left-wing shit. Liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat. He has no choice that he has got to run under one or the other, Democrat or Republican. And because there is really no two parties, like most of you dumbasses think. It's just the illusion. There's no two parties. It's just the illusion of such. It's a smokescreen. It's the illusion of two parties, two organized parties. But they really aren't two organized parties, Republican and Democrat. You could run under whatever idea, like Ron Paul. The other conservatives that are always running against him, and a lot of your conservative voters who usually vote Republican, they always say that his ideas sound democratic, that he doesn't sound conservative enough, that his ideas sound democratic, so he's running on the wrong side. And Kucinich, he has been told that by his people of his party and voters who vote Democrat, that his ideas are too conservative, too Republican, because both those guys don't give a shit about Republican and Democrat, because and that's how it should be. That's how I think. And most, like Ann Coulter, and I used to love her when I was more of a conservative, and I used to watch Fox News. I used to love Ann, and I still do. She doesn't seem like a very bad person. Okay, I mean, she's a little sassy at times, but she doesn't seem like she's probably a good person. And I still do agree with some of her ideas. There's some things I used to agree with her on before, but now I don't agree with her so much. But there's some things that she supports that I still do agree with her on. Same thing with Bill O'Reilly and Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity. You know, I still do agree with some of their shit, but I don't agree with them on as much as I used to agree with them on before. You know, Bill O'Reilly, I'm kind of starting to not like him. I don't like him as a person. I like him less and less as a person because he seems like a hothead. He invites people on his shows to debate the topic, and then while they're trying, if they don't agree with him, he just won't let them talk. He'll just shut down their side and be yelling at them, trying to intimidate them like a hothead. That's what I don't like about fucking Bill O'Reilly. I do still agree with him on some things. I don't agree with him on everything. I still agree with him on some things. But the problem I have mostly with him is not that I don't agree with him on some things. It's that the fucking arrogant, self-centered hothead that he is. You know, he thinks he's a tough guy sitting behind that desk and yelling at people who he invites on his show for a fair debate, and then he won't have a fair debate with them. He'll just be yelling at them and talking over them anytime they don't agree with him on something. He will just shut them down. And this is what conservatives always complain about all the time, that liberals do. That they shut down the other side. Yes, liberals are more prone to do this. In general, not all liberals are like this, but in general, liberals, they tend to do that more. Just shut down the other side. Where Republicans and conservatives in general, they tend to be more reasonable and listen to both sides. And liberals, liberals tend to be the ones that are not reasonable. They will just shut you down if you don't agree. But however, in Bill O'Reilly's case, he's a Republican conservative, and he seems like a fucking jerk. He is a dude that is just like the liberals that he's always putting down. He will shut down the other side. If you don't agree with him on something, he will shut you down and be just as arrogant and self-centered and uncivilized as the liberals he complains about. So I don't like Bill O'Reilly, like I used to. And same thing with Hannity. He could be a prick at times. He will, if you don't agree with him, he'll shut you down, and that's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit for liberals or conservatives to do that. I don't care what side you're on. If you're gonna have a debate, be fair and let the other side be heard. If you can't do that, then don't have the debate. But anyway, Ann Coulter, back to Ann Coulter. She wrote a book called If Democrats Were Smart, They'd Be Republicans. I used to agree with that back when I was a conservative, I was a Republican. Now that I'm a libertarian, I say if Democrats and Republicans were smart, they'd be independents and not pick one side or the other and support that party rather than supporting your ideas. And whatever candidate of either party whose ideas are closest to yours, that's who you support and that's who you vote for. Like how I support Ron Paul and I support Kucinich. I don't think either of them are going to get, if they get in there, either one of them, Kucinich, Ron Paul, I don't think they're going to be able to do what they want. They are going to be forced to go along with the agenda. So that's why I don't believe in politics and voting. I think it's all rigged. It's all bullshit. Nobody has a chance in there if you don't get down with the agenda. But however, if Ron Paul were to become president, and if they let him to do the things they say that he says he wants to do, and if he's honest and genuine about it, which I assume he is, and if he were to become president, and if they let him do the things he said he wants to do, which most of it I agree with, I think it would get this country back on the right track. Same thing with Kucinich. If he were to get in there, and if he is honest and genuine, which I assume he is, and if he were to get in there, win the president, become president, and if he were able to do, if they allowed him to do what the things he wants to do, I think he would get this country back on the right track. But I know nobody. I know that neither one of them, if they were to get in there, neither one of them has a chance. Not because their ideas aren't good, but there's too many other people in the government that most of the government is corrupt. Most of the Democrats and most of the Republicans are corrupt. Any good Republican or good Democrat that gets in there is not going to have a chance. So that's why I don't believe in voting, and I think it's all rigged. I don't believe in voting. But I voted once in my life. Never again. But however, I do support ideas of Ron Paul. I support the ideas of Dennis Kucinich, and that's what you should do, support ideas. And it doesn't matter if that man or that woman, whatever man or woman who's running for president, whose ideas are closest to your, if you're a person that votes, which I don't, but if you vote and you believe in that shit, whatever man or woman whose ideas are closest to yours, you vote for them, whether they be running on the Democrat side or Republican side. If you should be an independent. Even if you're an independent that leans left, then you vote for whatever man or woman whose ideas are closest to your left ideas, whether that man or woman be on the Democrat side or whether that man or woman be on the Republican side. But if their ideas are closest to yours, then you vote for him or her. If you're an independent that leans right, if you're a more conservative-leaning independent, then same thing. You vote for whatever man or woman. You vote for that guy or gal whose ideas are closest to yours, whether they be running on the Democrat side or Republican side. You vote for that person whose ideas are closest to yours. Forget about what party they're running under. Forget about that GOP tag, that Dem tag. Forget about the donkey or the elephant. Fuck that stupid shit. Fuck your teams. That bipartisan politics bullshit. Forget about the teams and voting for your teams. That is not important. That's not what's important. Your ideas, how you think this government should be run, how you think this country should be run. If you were smart, you wouldn't be Republican or Democrat. You would be independent. You vote for whatever person, man or woman, whose ideas is closest to yours, whether they're running under the Democrat tag or the Republican tag. And anyway, with Michael Jackson, I was watching when he died in 2009. You know, I was still a conservative at that time, so I was glued to Fox News every day. And it was June 25th of 2009. I was watching Fox News. It was like at 4 p.m., like 4 something in the afternoon. And breaking news got in that he hadn't even, this was before he died. He hadn't even died yet. And I was watching Fox News. I was watching something that came on before Glenn Beck. And I was waiting for Glenn Beck to come on. Glenn Beck, he was my favorite guy on Fox News. I was waiting for him, and his show was about to come on, but a little bit before he came on, word got out that Michael Jackson, he was rushed to the UCLA Medical Center. He's not doing good. This was before he was dead. And then I turned it on the other channels, and on the liberal networks too. On CNN, they had the same shit talking about Michael Jackson is been rushed to the UCLA Medical Center. He's not doing good. He might not make it. And they showed the outside of the hospital with a bunch of ambulances and cars and people around there, and they want to know what happened. Put it on CNN, that's what they show. Put it on NBC, MSNBC, ABC, every news network you could, and of course BET. You know, and on every news network you could think of, Fox News, CNN, NBC, ABC. You know, they were showing coverage of that when he got rushed to the hospital, and then it wasn't a few minutes later, he died. It was a few minutes later. They said Michael Jackson just died at 50 years old. And then they just kept it stuck on that on every news network for the whole rest of the day. They were covering that. I wanted to watch Glenn Beck that was supposed to come on, that was set to come on and then breaking news, and when Michael Jackson was rushed to the hospital, and Ed McMahon, he had died the day before, and they talked about that a little bit on TV the day after in the morning. Farrah Fawcett, she had died that morning. They were talking a little bit about her on the news networks. But when Michael Jackson, as soon as he died, before he died, before he even died, when he got rushed to the hospital, they forgot about Farrah Fawcett. They forgot all about Ed McMahon. Because they didn't talk about them that much anyway. They said a little bit here and there on the news about them, but they didn't say Michael Jackson. People just forgot about them completely, and they forgot about the news. They said, "Fuck the news, and we're gonna show you coverage of Michael Jackson, him getting rushed to the hospital, and then a few minutes later he died." And they just decided to show about Michael Jackson's death. I was supposed to watch Glenn Beck, and that never came on. They just bumped off the whole day on every news network to give you coverage of Michael Jackson's death. As much as I love Michael Jackson, my favorite artists are Michael Jackson, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith. I love Wu-Tang Clan. I love Madonna. I love Boot Camp Click. Rest in peace, Sean Price. He just died not too long ago. Love Boot Camp, Wu-Tang. Them are my two favorite hip-hop groups. I don't know who I would choose. I don't know who I would say is better out of both of them, Wu-Tang and Boot Camp, and who I like better. But those are my two favorite hip-hop groups. I love Madonna. I love Aretha Franklin. I love Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. I love Nas. I love Flipmo Squad with Busta Rhymes and Busta Rhymes, Lord Have Mercy, Rampage the Last Boy Scout. I love them. I love Def Squad with Redman and Eric Sermon and Molly Mall, Jamal. I love Eminem. I love Eminem's like the only rapper that's mainstream now that I think is a great rapper. Eminem is the only, and he's a great lyricist and everything. Eminem is like the only mainstream rapper now that I could think of that's popular now that is a great rapper. Most of the other mainstream rappers that are out now, I can't even, are not even okay, let alone great. You know, I do love it, and I love Eminem. I love the old school shit, Run DMC and Sugar Hill Gang, Funky 4+1, MC Light. The Fat Boys, LL Cool J, Queen Latifah, you know, that Rakim, the fucking, he revolutionized lyricism like probably more than anyone else. Rakim, and even Will Smith and Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff, even MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice. I know you all are gonna laugh at me when I say, but I love Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer. I still love them, you know. And I love Kid and Play and stuff like that. And anyway, back to my point. Michael Jackson and the Rolling Stones are at the very top of my list. I don't know who I like better, Michael Jackson or the Rolling Stones, you know, but them are my two all-time favorite. And so I love Michael Jackson. No disrespect to him and his memory. I love Michael Jackson. And I was a little bit sad. When breaking news came in of his death, of him being rushed to the hospital and in critical condition. Then they're saying I was sad. I was like, oh no, don't tell me Michael's gonna die. And then a few minutes later, they said they said Elizabeth Taylor, she's rushing to the hospital to pay her respects, but she was a little bit too late. He died a little before she got there. I said, oh shit. Say it ain't fucking so. You know, and it's funny. It's funny. It's ironic because just like a few weeks before, or maybe 2 weeks before, something like that, I had just bought a whole bunch of Michael Jackson CDs. And then when he died, every store, Target, FYE, and Walmart, and any store that sells music, uh, they stocked the shelves with a whole bunch of his albums. His Thriller, Off the Wall, Bad, Dangerous, Invincible, all his Jackson 5 shit, and greatest hits compilations of him and everything. When he died, they just had a surplus of stuff of him that they stocked the shelves with, and everybody was going in the stores eating that shit up. He came out with a new album. They said, I guess he recorded it before he died. That song that's on the new car commercial, "Loving Never Felt So Good," and it's with Justin Timberlake in the song. And I love Justin Timberlake too. You know, I love Justin Timberlake. He's awesome. And it was Michael Jackson featuring Justin Timberlake, and it was a great song. And yeah, that's a whole new album. That's a whole new album they came out with after he was dead. And well, anyway, I had just bought because I said a few weeks before he died, before I even knew he was gonna die. I didn't know he was doing bad and all. I said, you know what? I don't have a lot of Michael Jackson in my collection, and he's my favorite. Him and the Rolling Stones. I don't know who I would choose. You know, maybe if I'm just talking about the Rolling Stones and Michael Jackson, just Michael Jackson's solo career alone, then I might put Rolling Stones a little bit ahead of Michael Jackson as my favorite. But then when you talk about Michael Jackson, and when you add his Jackson 5 stuff, all the great shit he did with Jackson 5 that I love, then it gets a little bit closer to even, and I might put Michael Jackson ahead of Rolling Stones. But I don't know. It's a toss up with me between the Rolling Stones and Michael Jackson. Them are my two top favorite. And Michael Jackson, I was just thinking, like 2 weeks or a few weeks before he died, you know what? I said, I don't have a lot of Michael Jackson in my collection. And I love Michael Jackson. Him and the Rolling Stones are my very favorite. And I used to have a lot of Michael Jackson tapes when I was younger, when everybody was still listening to tapes. I had Thriller, you know, I had Bad, I had Off the Wall. But then when tapes went out and CDs came in, I realized, yo, I don't have a lot of Michael Jackson in my collection. I got a bunch of Rolling Stones, I got a bunch of Led Zeppelin, I got a bunch of Aerosmith, I got a bunch of AC/DC, Kiss, I got a bunch of Wu-Tang Clan. You know, I don't have enough Michael Jackson. You know, Michael Jackson, I only got like one CD. I forgot which one that was. And I said, let me go to the store and let me go to the mall or Walmart or something, and I gotta get me a few Michael Jackson CDs and keep on adding Michael to my his solo stuff and his Jackson 5 stuff. I gotta get more Michael Jackson in my collection. And so I went to the mall a few weeks before he died, and I bought I bought Thriller, I bought Off the Wall, I bought Dangerous. I bought some Jackson 5 shit of his, greatest hits of the Jackson 5, and then he died a few weeks later. I was like, wow, I'm glad I got a bunch of Michael Jackson shit before he died, 'cause I don't know, him dying might have made the price of his stuff go up, or maybe not, 'cause there was a surplus of it that they just put in stores when he died. They put a bunch of his shit in, stocked a bunch of his shit at every store, Target, Walmart, and everywhere. So maybe there being a surplus of it that they were trying to give away, that maybe maybe that lowered the price. I don't know, but I know everybody was packing the stores, buying his albums when he died, his solo stuff, his Jackson 5 stuff. Everybody was eating it up. I still have a few albums to get. I want to get that new one he came out with, the one they released after he died. I want to get more of his Jackson 5 shit. I have a Jackson 5, their first album, ABC. I have that in vinyl. I ordered it at FYE. It only cost me, I think, $23 and something cents for Jackson 5. I'm surprised it was that low. I mean, I know I think it's used. I know it's used and all, but it's the original vinyl record of their Jackson 5 first album, ABC. I got it. I never listened to it. I want to listen to it, but I'm scared. I don't want to scratch it up. I want to be very delicate with it. And I have that, though. I haven't listened to it yet. First of all, I got to get a record player. That would help for me to listen to it. And I want to be delicate with it, and I want to record it from the record player onto a tape, so then I don't ever have to listen to the record again, so that I don't have to take it out of the case and risk scratching it or damaging it. But I want to record it onto a tape. I still have a boombox with a tape player, so I could do that. I know some of you have thrown your tape players away, and you only use CDs now, and iPad and the internet to listen to music. I still fuck with tapes a little bit, those that I can find. And I got that. I was surprised it was so cheap. I would think even before he died, I would think even before he died that a record of his original Jackson 5 shit, their first album, would be worth like hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars and would cost that. But it was $23. I hope there ain't nothing wrong with it for it to be that. I was debating over getting that and a Kiss, because I love Kiss too. It was Kiss Alive, the famous live album they came out with in '76. I was going to get that on vinyl, and that was only like $28 to order it at FYE. I was going to get that, but I decided to get the Jackson 5 one instead. Hold on a minute. And anyway, well, with Michael Jackson, let me get to my point. Wow, this is about to be the longest video ever that I've made. So for my longest one so far was 50 minutes and something seconds. This one is already at 49:15 and counting. And with Michael Jackson and his death, and I mean, as great as he was and as much as I love him myself, I don't think any celebrity, whether it's Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan, if it's Madonna that dies, if it's Paul McCartney of the Beatles, Mick Jagger. You know, if it's Jay-Z or whoever dies, you know, I don't think any celebrity, and I know Michael Jackson, his rap sheet is like, there's a lot of people who think that he did molest those children that he was accused of molesting. A lot of people believe he didn't do it. Me, myself, I don't know for sure. I hope he didn't do that. You know, I hope he didn't do that. But I don't know for sure. Me, I don't know. You know, I assume he didn't do it. That's my opinion, which means I don't know. My opinion is that he didn't do it. I think most likely he did not do that, but I don't know for sure. Hold on a minute.